All right, guys, the plan for today is to go out and finish yard on one of the basements we did this spring. But first, we got a problem. So my poor beloved power rake is in absolute pieces. Somewhere on the last job, I managed to lose one of the main bearings that drives the roller. Yeah, you can see that is not in working order whatsoever. But good news, I got parts ordered, we got them in. But we're running short on time this morning, so we're gonna have to fix this one the YouTube magic way. Check that out. Getting pretty good at the old YouTube magic, aren't I? So this is the AMI Ruckus Rake. And here's the story behind this, guys, real quick. AMI got a hold of me and wanted to know if I'd be interested in demoing this unit. This is their version of the power rake. And I was pretty happy with what I got. I had the Harley MX-7, and by no stretch of the imagination has this been a bad rake. You guys have seen this thing in video after video after video, chewing up rocks, chewing up topsoil. I use it, possibly even abuse it. It's been a pretty good rake. But just because this is a good rake, don't mean there's not room for improvement to make an excellent rake or a better rake. And AMI sent me some of the specs on this thing, and there's a few features on this thing that just really got my attention, where I thought, you know what? I need to give that a try and check it out. And I'll go over a few of those real quick. Keep in mind, this is a demo unit. It's been used before. I have not used it yet. So everything I'm gonna say right now is just my observations here in the shop before we go to the job. We're gonna take this thing to the dirt and we're gonna find out what it really does. So just a few things different I see here. One, we're gonna start off right here in the front with the way the front dollies or the front tires are mounted. That's one of my gripes about this particular rake. One, it's a pretty chintzy setup. I've actually had to do a little bit of welding here to make sure it stays in place. And two, watch out. Two, it's rigid. They're mounted solid. So if that wheel rolls up on something, it raises the whole rake up. Two, or on this one here, one, look how much beefier that is. I mean, that is substantially stronger. The other thing is, if you go back and flip this little lever up right here, they can actually move and rotate. It's more than what I can do with my hands. But those will actually do this number here, so it'll actually follow the ground, which we'll find out whenever I put it in the dirt. But I foresee that being a pretty big advantage. One, just how robust they are. I don't have to worry about being quite as delicate or damaging them, because I have done that on the other ones. And two, I think that tilt option is a pretty big deal. The other thing is, this thing here, and this may be what sold me, it has tilt itself. I'll show you here in a minute, but this whole rake, using that cylinder up there on top, right there, will tilt 28 degrees both ways. I can't tell you how many times I've been power raking with that, trying to do contour around the house, and I'm thinking, man, if this thing just had tilt. Well, guess what? I got it now. We'll find out how well that works. So that's a pretty big deal. The overall build of it, I don't know. I use this term a lot whenever I demoed some of the Hyundai equipment. It's just common sense engineering. It's just, everything's built good, it's built right, and it's not overdone. I appreciate that, whoever designed this. I appreciate your thought process that went into it. A couple other noticeable differences. One is the size of the drum. I didn't measure this, I probably should have. It probably looks close to a 10-inch drum, which is considerably bigger than this one. I'd say this is probably a 6-inch drum. Now, where that's gonna come into play, I believe, is that should help debris stay kicked out in front of the rake, which should help, you know, separate roots and rocks and any other trash you got in the soil. It should help separate that out and keep it rolled out in front. Well, this one here has a tendency to want to kick that over the top. The other huge difference is the way the drum is actually drove or spun. This one here has direct drive hydraulic motors on both sides. A couple things on that. I really like the way this is mounted in there. They actually inset the motor into the drum a little bit, and they got a collar back here to protect it. That's one of the issues I had with that. If you see all that stuff laying out there on the ground, that is actually was wrapped around this bearing right here. This bearing that was my issue is basically eliminated on this because the bearing is in the motor. I have slight concerns about this void being up here, getting full of debris and causing some issues, but time will tell on that. It's a good trade-off for me. I'd rather take a chance on stuff getting stuck back in that void than I would of having the bearing set up I got on the other one. And this also allows you, I mean, you can run these rakers right down next to the house or a sidewalk or a concrete pad. I cannot do that one on that one. The bearing and everything sticks out too far. The framework sticks out too far, especially on the other side, because on the other side, this one's got this chain drive system. Motor sits up on top, goes down, drives the bearing down here. This is noisy, and it's proved to be a maintenance issue over the years. So, I don't know. This drive system's got my attention as well. Not only do they put a drive motor on one side, we have double drive motors. Now, where that comes into play, and time will tell, I used to have a 3-point hitch, a tractor drive 3-point hitch Harley wreck. It was the same as that one, but it went on the back of a tractor. And it spoiled me a little bit because it had all kinds of power. I could pretty much rip through any hard ground, and it had a slip clutch on it, but it, especially in sod, it'd really chew up sod well. That one does not. It does not have the hydraulic power to keep that drum spinning. I'm hoping this one here improves in that department a little bit. So we'll see how that pans out. Now, one thing I did notice is a pretty noticeable difference is this one here's got this guard on here, and it's actually got the rubber flap way up underneath here. I can see where this is going to be an advantage keeping debris flying. I have had stuff hit the windshield and end up in the cab with me before. I do have some, that's a pretty heavy piece of steel, but I do have some concerns about a rock or something getting jammed in there and kind of damaging that a little bit. And I noticed it's welded on and not bolted on, so if that does get damaged, I could foresee that being a little bit of a maintenance issue to repair or replace. But that could just be me making an issue out of something that's not an issue. It's just something I kind of noticed there. But got the box end scrapers on one side. They're adjustable for 2 different holes, and it's got the little ripper teeth on the front. I kind of like the option of having both. I could see that being pretty handy as well. One last thing that I did notice that you don't realize how big of a deal it is that you don't have it is a kickstand. If you look at the way that rake is sitting on the ground over there, it is a pain in the butt to get hooked up, especially if it's not on level ground. This one's got a kickstand, keeps all the stuff up out of the dirt, and allows it to just be sitting in a position to get hooked up. So it, I don't know, guys. Let's put it this way: it takes a lot to get my attention. I've seen a lot, I've been around a lot, I've done a lot, but like I said, this is a good piece of equipment. But if I was gonna make a few changes or a few upgrades to it, this one has most of it. It's like somebody read my mind, which is scary. But we gotta put this thing in the dirt. It's still gotta prove itself. It's gotta earn its keep. It's gotta see what it's all about. Let me fire it up here real quick. I'll show you how it works, and then we'll hit the road. All right, guys, I'll try to show you this the best I can. It's hard to do with one hand, but if I hold this button down and then use my slide lever on the other side, it'll angle the rake. Substantially more than that other one does. I don't know what the actual angle is, but it's quite a bit. But here's the cool part. Let me raise it up. Check this out. So now if I hold the other button down and do the same thing, we got tilt. Look at that. Look how far that thing tilts. We'll let this old girl warm up while we're chaining down. Still loving the speed binders. Been using these things for almost a year now. I'm embarrassed to say, zero maintenance. They need a little bit of work, they need greased and lubricated, but those things have been a pleasant surprise to the operation, let me tell you. All right guys, we are loaded down, chained down, and ready to roll. I'm gonna take the bulldozer along. It was already on the trailer. I'm not for sure what we're getting into on the other end, so let's just leave her on there and see what we got. It's about an hour drive to the job site, so I'd hate to have to come back and get it if we need it, so we'll leave her on there. Let's hit the road and see what we're getting into. And we're off. Almost forgot fuel. That's never good. It's like the state's getting ready to get into something pretty interesting. That's my new attachment. What do you think about it?
It's all right.
Pretty slick looking, isn't it? I'm excited to give her a try, see what happens.
Is that for brush or just?
Yeah, I'll basically prepping a seed bed for a yard. Kind of goes through and knocks all the debris out and levels it up a little bit. So we'll see how she works. All right, let's try this again. We are fueled up. We are fueled up. You guys noticed from the last video, the truck's in here the other way. Yeah, may have forgot which side the fuel neck was on. That's all right, we got her. Let's hit the road for a second time. All right, guys, some of you may recognize this job. A couple videos come out of here. One, this was the 48-hour basement install we did. And two, this is where we come back and cut the window in. That's the egress window for fire access to the basement. That's the window we put in. They got it covered up right now. I'm not going to uncover it because I don't want to take a chance of getting anything down in there. But I went ahead and unloaded the dozer. We got some drainage and some sloping issues to deal with back here, which is kind of what I suspected. So basically, I'm gonna hop on the dozer here real quick. We're gonna get a good drainage in up here on the upper side of the house. And we got a few topsoil piles to push back and cover up. And then this is gonna be a really good test for this rake. This was all woods, if you guys remember from the previous videos. So we'll see how good a job that rake does of kicking all that trash out of those piles. But let me get the dozer fired up here real quick. Give me about an hour or so, and kind of get some stuff schmoozed together, and then we'll go to town for the rake. Alright guys, the anticipation is killing me. It's about go time with this rake. Got everything pretty much roughed in with the dozer. We got good drainage in up here. Got topsoil just kind of busted out there in the front yard. We'll get around the other side. I'll show you guys. We got a little bit of a parking area we kind of roughed in. But this is going to be a good test for the rake. We got a lot of different variables in play here. We got hard ground. We got a lot of contour. We got some tight areas. And we got some topsoil with a lot of debris in it. So we're gonna run this thing through the gamut, see what she's got. Let's do it. right, guys, first impressions after running it for about 15 minutes. I'm starting to get impressed. So I don't know if you guys can see the contour right here. It just comes down, goes back up, goes back down, and it gets to the house. It has a big rolling swoop to it. It's hard, it's just hard to show that grade on camera, but a couple things. My point is, I wouldn't say this would be impossible to do with the other rake, but it would have took me a lot longer than 15 minutes. Now I'm just now getting the hang of that thing. You give me another hour on that thing, I'm gonna be dangerous. The way the tilt adjusts, you kind of got to set yourself up ahead of what you're gonna do, but that is an awesome feature. The other thing that kind of surprised me that I ended up liking more than I thought I would was them teeth on the front of there, because it really helped me maintain the grade on the bottom of this ditch. If I got to a hump or something, they seem to really rip it up and help me push through. Them teeth right there, I think are going to be more of a benefit, more of a help than what I thought. But it definitely has more rotating power, and it is extremely quiet. I've had to look out there a few times just to see if it's even turning, because that other one, that chain's so loud you can hear it rotating around. But I'm pleasantly surprised with that, to be honest with you. So the next challenge for it is, we're going to move out here to the front yard. This is the dirt to come out of the woods here. Got a bunch of debris in it. Dennis is throwing some of the big stuff out, but we're going to tackle through this and see how well it sorts that out. So see what happens. Well, what's your opinion, Dennis? With just one pass, I think that's a pretty good job of cleaning it up.
Yes, it does.
That's a big difference from right there to right there.
Yes. I need to buy me one of them. Or
I just need to charge you more. Look at all the time and effort I'm saving you picking up sticks now.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
That looks pretty sharp. We just got to get that fixed now. All right, before we go back to raking here, I'm gonna make a quick adjustment. We're gonna unhinge those front wheels, which should allow those to pivot. I want to kind of see how much of a difference it makes out here in this open yard, kind of just helping blend everything together. So let's see what happens. me just a second, but I'm starting to get the hang of this thing, and the more I use it, I'll have to admit, the more I like it. It's just, it's so much smoother than that other one. I'm sure that has to do with it being direct drive. One thing I'm figuring out is even though this is a little bit of a smaller rake, I think I'm making better time on this yard because of the tilt and the angle options. I'm not making as many passes trying to get the same thing accomplished. It definitely does a better job. It definitely does a better job of sorting out all the roots and the debris. I mean, it's not perfect, and it's not going to be. But a combination of that bigger drum and I think that tighter curtain down there, the less stuff can hop over, definitely makes a difference on that. Try to get a little bit of topsoil worked up to that driveway there, and come back and go the other way. Yeah, look at that pile of roots. That's just all roots that pushed up. Proud of it. I just nailed a stump. Probably traveling faster than what I need to. And from what I can tell, she's all still in operating order. That wasn't intentional, but that was a good little good little durability test. Sorry, Ruckus Rake. I'll pay more attention next time, but whew. I'm not for sure. I wasn't recording. I hit that thing pretty hard. I hit it hard enough that I'm not for sure we'd be continuing on with the other rake right now. That was a good one. That was a good one, bud. This is the last little area I gotta do. I'm over here on the far side of the house. I purposely did less work with the bulldozer over here to see what kind of job I can actually do level with this thing. That's one of my bigger concerns with it being a smaller rake is how much leveling I can do. And this is also some harder ground, but it seems to be chewing through the ground all right. We're just going to see if we can chase all these whoopie-doos out of here with it. The main thing is, it's still working after the snow been through. Random question. I wonder if there's a warranty on a demo. Well, we didn't have to find out, but this is the last little area I gotta go, is right there. All right, I'm gonna do my best to show you guys this. This right here is a hard knot. That's where that other rake really would have struggled whenever it come into that. It wouldn't have chewed that up. It would have wanted to skip over it. This thing seems to have considerably more power. I'll try to get you a little bit of a visual of it coming through that, see if you can see what I'm talking about. All right, guys, that's a wrap on this. And I just really wish that camera would show you guys contour. I think you'd be a lot more impressed with what we accomplished here, but it turned out awesome. The main thing is the customer and the homeowner are both, well, the customer and the contractor are both tickled to death with it. So that's the most important thing, as we leave here, making sure we do them a good job. But she's all wrapped up and done. We got our parking, actually at the turnaround pad there. They're already moving in. I will show you this pile over here. Check this out. This is the pile of roots that thing separated pretty much by itself. We just pushed up in a pile there, so no complaints about that whatsoever. And this is the backside here. We got her sloped in, so let's get this thing loaded up and hit the roof. All right, guys, now we got our first job under our belt. I feel like I got a little bit more of a valid opinion about the old girl. First off, overall, I'm in love with this thing. It's a significant improvement over the other one. But let me just kind of walk you through a few things that I noticed while I was using it, some good, some bad. But one thing that I noticed, and it's one of those things you don't realize you don't have until you don't have it, is the other one has a really nice step right here. And whenever you jump out of the machine, you got a place to step down. This one here actually has more room in here. It has this plate protecting the valve body, which is definitely good. But a simple little step right here would definitely help. I kind of busted my shin there one time. Today's a dry day. You get a muddy day or a wet day, it may even be a little bit bigger deal. But like I said, that's probably something that could even be bolted on. They've got a couple generic holes up there, so not a big deal there. Absolutely love the tilt feature. Love the tilt feature. One thing, this piece here, I believe, is at a little bit of an angle, so you cannot use these as a level gauge. If it had some simple little gauge just to kind of show you where center's at, that would definitely be a big help, because sometimes you get on a hillside or up there, had a bunch of different contours. And keep in mind, I'm not used to this thing, so I kind of had to search for what would be level or true, I guess. I don't think it'd be a big deal to put some sort of little indicator on there somewhere to do that. Nevertheless, I wouldn't trade the tilt option for anything. That is awesome. It's a time saver. I can't tell you how much time it saved me, not having to go back and reposition, get it a different angle, then go back and clean up my track marks where I was at. I could just kind of roll my way on down through there, one pass it, and was good to go. This here, one thing else I noticed, I had another power rake. It was an old rock rake. It was actually a pull behind type. It had two options. It actually wasn't for the tilt, it was for the down pressure. But if you had two options, if you had a slotted hole here and then this hole here, that way you could kind of let this thing kind of roll and naturally do what it wants to and not force it in any direction. Then you'd also have the hole to put it rigid. I could see that being a huge benefit and a pretty easy modification to it. Again, it works great the way it is. Just a simple little feature that may be easily added that I think would make the usability of it pretty sweet. One other thing is this piece here. I liked running it in the open position. This yard here, we weren't going for level. We were going for smooth in the contour. So having it in the release position allowed it to kind of just do its own thing, which is an awesome feature. But needs a catch or something. That kept wanting to fall back in the hole. Either I tilt it back or possibly hit a stump. Whenever I hit the stump, it did that number. So I don't think it'd take much. It may just be changing the profile of that a little bit so it hinges over a little bit more. Again, just minor things. The only thing else I did notice, and I don't think this is a big deal, but we did gather some dirt in there. I would trade a little bit of dirt in that hole in this drive system any day over the drive system on that other one. It's so much quieter. It's got so much more torque. I love the bigger drum. It does a phenomenal job. Overall, it does an awesome job. Having the tilt feature, having these to where you can lock them or be independent, the way those are structured and built, these things here surprised me. They end up being quite a bit handier than what I anticipated. I kind of envisioned myself switching these around the other way, but I really like those things. All right, guys, real quick in closing, I'll tell you how much I like this thing. I had no intentions, wasn't even shopping for a different rake, different power rake. The other rake I got, it works. It does a good job. Do I have to work a little harder at it to get a good job? Does it take a little bit better operator to get a good job? Yeah, but I can get by with it. But after using this thing, I'm gonna have a hard time parting with it. We might just have to make her stick around. Going back and forth, I'd like to upgrade my grader attachment to some laser controls, but that's a pretty sweet rig right there, guys. So anyways, we're gonna wrap this one up. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the Ruckus Rake from AMI. It sure was a lot of fun. A lot of fun using this thing. Pretty cool attachment. But as always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Guys, two quick things here before we drive off into the sunset. If it wasn't for your participation and you guys taking the time to subscribe and comment on my channel, I would never get the awesome opportunities I do with companies like AMI. So from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you guys enough, and I truly do appreciate it. Secondly, a lot of you guys out there run similar equipment, similar rakes, and I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts are on them. If you've run a different brand of rake or a different style of rake and liked it or didn't like it, I'm very interested in what you got to say. Comment down below and let me know. And you guys that have followed my channel for a while, you know that I pretty much either personally read or like every comment I get, and I intend to do that as long as I possibly can. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we shall catch you on the next one.